Good morning. I can guarantee you this is the quietest and most organized this group has been the entire week they've been here. It's like senioritis from high school. It's been quite the week. Good morning, everybody. It is wonderful to see this room full of people who have supported these graduates through a demanding, transformative year. Today, it's a celebration of work that wasn't theoretical or abstract. It was lived in real time, in real organizations, while all of these leaders were carrying complex responsibilities, both clinically and administratively. Our executive MBA programs have always been about closing the gap between what healthcare demands and what traditional training provides. Watching these cohorts take on that challenge without shying away from the messy, high-stake problems in front of them has been a reminder of why this work matters. Their projects, their growth, and their persistence are not academic exercises. They're contributions to patients, teams, and systems that will feel the impact immediately and for years to come. We have a meaningful program ahead of us, including remarks from our dean and from our guest speaker, Dr. Keith Gray. Keith is someone who knows this journey firsthand and whose leadership in our region reflects the same commitment to service and improvement that all of you have shown. To the graduates, take a breath and take this in. You've balanced careers, families, crises, opportunities, and a grueling academic schedule. You have earned this morning, and the ripple effects of what you've built will extend far beyond this room. So let's get started. Janessa, I'm turning this over to Steve, am I not? All right, my apologies. Steve, you're up. All right.
Good morning, everyone. It's great to be with you. What a wonderful day. For those of you who are from out of town, welcome to Rocky Top and to Knoxville and to the University of Tennessee. I want to thank each of you for being here to recognize and celebrate today's graduates from the Physicians EMBA program and also from the Healthcare Leadership program. Equally important, I think we need to take some time and recognize and thank those who are not in hoods and robes today, and that's the family and loved ones of the graduates. The graduates are receiving diplomas and accolades, but many of you, all of you in this room, deserve praise and accolades as well for the sacrifices that you have made in making today possible. I know we have spouses, we have loved ones, we have children. All of those individuals have made sacrifices in making today possible. I also suspect that there's been some reliance on extended families, employers, and others. So you've had to make sacrifices, compromises. We economists talk about opportunity cost, in which one forgoes things in the short run for the promises of great things in the longer run. And I hope that as you reflect on the program today, you see that the sacrifices, the opportunity costs that have been borne in the short run, I hope you'll find as you go throughout your professional lives that it was worth the effort. I suspect there's also a few golf handicaps that have suffered as a result of the program as you've made tough choices in terms of where to spend your time. So for those family members that are here, we don't have diplomas that have your name on it, but as you reflect on the diploma of the graduate, please recognize that you are part of that process and that there's a piece of that diploma that belongs to you as well. To the graduates, just a couple of thoughts. I want to thank you for choosing your life's work in the helping and caring professions. The lives of all of us in this room, the lives of us across this nation, indeed the lives of across this globe are made better by the choice you made in choosing this profession. We hope and trust that you will see and continue to see over time that your time spent here on Rocky Top and in the Haslam College of Business was a value add in your life, in your professional life. Please, going forward, keep us informed of your accomplishments as life unfolds, if you have opportunity to come back to Rocky Top, please do so. We will always welcome you home here. I'd like now to introduce our speaker this morning. Dr. Keith Gray serves as President and Chief Executive Officer of the University of Tennessee Medical Center. He has been with UTMC for more than 18 years. His undergraduate and medical degrees are from Wake Forest University, with advanced surgical training at Vanderbilt University Medical Center and at MD Anderson Cancer Center. Keith is a graduate of the Physicians EMBA program, where he was also chosen class president and was named Physician Leader of the Year. Keith is deeply committed to service both within the hospital and across the Knoxville community. He's actively involved in organizations such as Emerald Youth Foundation and the United Way of Greater Knoxville. He is also a member of the Dean's Advisory Council for our college. Most importantly, he's a devoted husband of 28 years, a father of 5, an elder in his church, and has a strong commitment to faith, family, and community. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Keith Gray.
Thank you for having me here this morning. So 28 years of marriage tells you I'm older, 1, and I usually don't deliver speeches from my iPad, number 2, but I'm going to try it this morning and see how it goes. Thanks for having me here. It's nice to be back, and I know what it feels like to sit there. You're saying to yourself, I'm glad it's over, and your family is saying, I'm glad it's over. I want to talk a little bit today about speed. Speed kills is what I want to talk to you about. I grew up in a small town in eastern North Carolina. I consider myself a Tennessean now. I've been here over 25 years. But I grew up in a small town in eastern North Carolina, about 1,500 people, and it's still about 1,500. Sports were a big part of my life growing up for my brother and me. I have one little brother. Not because we thought we were going to be professional athletes like all the kids do today, or that I was going to get an NIL deal. But it was an escape. It was a way to connect with friends and connect with other families. And we lived in a rural area. I didn't have any other kids within a mile of my house. So it was a way to connect. And also, it was fun. Sports were fun back then. They were free, and they were finite. In my rural county, we had one high school, and you played whatever was in season. In the fall, you played football, and for me, I was in the marching band. My wife said that's not a sport, by the way, but I disagree. In the winter, I played basketball. In the spring, for a decade, I played baseball, and then I became a track athlete. And in the summer, I worked in the tobacco fields. The Greene County, where I'm from, and Pitt County next to it were the number 1 and number 2 tobacco-producing counties in the world when I was a child. Tobacco fields as far as the eye could see, and that's what I did during the summers. And I played rec ball at night, basketball or baseball. I went on to marry a Division I track athlete. My wife's track and cross country, 3-time state champion, Notre Dame alum, all that stuff. And we produced 5 little apples, as you heard, and they fell right beneath the tree. They did track and cross country, softball, and marching band. My son is a drum major. But about 12 years ago, everything changed for my family. We entered into the world of travel sports. Travel sports are from the devil. Let me just say that right now. At that time, I took my then 8-year-old to try out for a travel softball team. And so we took it to practice. I remember it being really hot. There was one coach. There were 20 or 30 little girls out there. Half of them had their teeth, half of them didn't, all that kind of stuff. And he said, I'm going to pitch to the girls that are hitting. There was one on deck, one hitting, and all the other little girls stand in the field. He said, when you catch the ball, throw it back to the pitcher's circle. And so that process started. And 2 batters in, I was afraid for this guy's life in the pitching circle. He was pitching. They were hitting. They were throwing balls back. They were hitting him in the back, hitting him in the back of the head, rolling between his legs. He was stepping on balls. There was something bad about to happen. The first responder and the surgeon in me kicked in, and I left the stands. I ran into the dugout, and I got a glove, and I said, I'm going to go help this guy, at the very least, protect him. put the balls in a bucket. Little did I, first of all, my daughter made the team. Secondly, little did I know that would qualify me as an assistant coach for the next decade. So then I fast forward, that was 2012 or so, fast forward to PIMBA, 2014. Now I'm sitting in the car on Saturday mornings for my virtual class from 9 to 12, waiting for the game to start. The game's already started, and I'm missing the first and second inning because I'm trying to finish class. The girls were older, they were more skilled, and at that time I was the third base coach. I'd qualified now, I'd been promoted to the third base coach, and I'm calling plays. We weren't a power hitting team, let me just say that. I had 10-year-old girls, and now they've moved from just enjoying the snack to understanding the game. But no power hitters, and so we had to win with strategy. And our strategy was get the fastest players on base no matter what. And the girls, before I tell you what I'm going to say they weren't throwing very hard. So I'm going to say it again, get the fastest players on base no matter what, no matter how you get there. Walk, hit by pitch, bunt, it doesn't matter. Just get on first base. And if the speedsters got on first base, I knew I could get them to third. Steal, delayed steal, whatever it was, I could get them to third base and we can score. Our motto became speed kills. It worked. We went on, we were together for 10 years. Actually, some of the little girls, they actually work for me now. Three of them are nurses. One of them's wants to be a CRNA, so on and so forth. We went on to win a regional championship. We won more games than we lost. It was a great time. Just like in sports, speed creates advantages in other areas. In business, as you know, the early adopters like Chick-fil-A, and then everybody else follows. Wherever Chick-fil-A is where you want to be. It matters in real estate, like Walgreens. They go in the community, they buy up all the corners. They're not a drugstore, they're a real estate company. They just get all the best corners in the city. It matters in relationships. Going back to my wife, she's a year behind me in medical school. And I heard whispers that some other guys were interested in her. I raised my hand first. I asked her out the second time I met her, and we wanted to be married 3 months later, and we've been married for 28 years. And it matters in careers. When I was in this class, and as I mentioned in 2014, in May of that year, I left class. I called my CEO and I said, I'd like to meet with you. And I walked in his office and I said, help me get your job one day. That was 10 years ago. He mentored me for the next decade, and I've been in the role now for 20 months. So raising your hand early doesn't hurt at all. The problem is, though, speed in all aspects of your life doesn't always equate, doesn't always lead to the same results. But I didn't understand that, and probably until now, and I'm still working on it. I'm in recovery. It leaked into every part of my life. You heard the introduction. When I was in this class, I was class president, and I fortunately was voted physician leader of the year, but I was also producing 80th percentile in surgical oncology that year. And I wanted to get a 4.0 in this class, believe it or not. And I love being class president. I was division chief of surgical oncology. And oh, by the way, I was a softball coach. And I did all that to the best of my ability. And I will tell you, my wife almost divorced me that year. That's the only year in 28 she almost divorced me. And I'm very serious about that. Busyness for me became a badge of honor. And one of the professors that was part of the Haslam team at that time, in retrospect, she saw that in me and laid out some warning signs that I didn't recognize until years later. I was always fatigued. I was increasingly irritable outside of class. I was melancholy. I was pushing my family and my friends and my colleagues away. I was relentlessly chasing performance improvement in my life. You know, I like to fish, and sometimes you have to row upstream, and my philosophy was, you know, just like when you're on the water, if you're not constantly rowing or have your troll motor on or whatever it is, you're moving backwards. You're not making progress. I adopted that philosophy in my life. I said, if you're not always working on PI, you're losing. That's the philosophy that I had. And truth be told, I wasn't satisfied with my clinical outcomes during that year. But if I look back on my PIMBA, you guys learned a lot of things. You have a lot of tools that you're ready to use. The most important things I did during my PIMBA class, one was my value hierarchy, because it showed me that my patients did not care about where I went to school. They didn't want to know that I spent 9 years of training after medical school. They just wanted to know that I was going to listen to them, that I was going to let them finish talking, right? It takes them, I think it's 31 seconds to get their story out. We used to listen 17, now we listen 11. So they just wanted me to give them their 31 seconds. And they wanted to know that I would partner with them on their journey wherever it led, and I would never let go of their arm. The second most important thing I did during my PIMBA was the obituary that we wrote. Did you guys still do that? Do the obituary? They don't do that anymore?
We do not do that anymore.
That's a valuable exercise. I have it on my desk at home right now. I pulled it out. And it tells you where you want to be. And actually, the guy that recruited me here passed away a week ago, and his services were this past weekend. And you get to write what you want people to say about you at your funeral services. And then you back your way into that. You live that out over the next however many years, for 3, 4, 5 decades. That's been priceless for me. After PIMBA, I was broken, honestly. And I had to be broken in order to be blessed moving forward. On this day in 2014, all of my classmates were saying, "What are you going to do on Monday?" A lot of people had a job already that they were going to be promoted into. Some of them had been sent here by the jobs or the positions they had been promoted into. And I felt really bad because I said, "Man, I'm going back to work. I've got surgery on Monday." And I wasn't doing anything different, and I felt less than because of that. So then, that hole that PIMBA had filled for the best 12 months of my academic career, I now started to want to shove other things into that hole. So I became busier and entered into a long season of depression, and I wanted to quit the things that mattered most in my life. So I reached out to a mentor. That's the first lesson. Have a mentor. And he told me, he met me immediately. That's the first thing. Secondly, he said, serve somebody else beside yourself. And he said, self-pity cannot survive service. Self-pity cannot survive service. So we're all going to have crossroads. If you haven't had them, you're going to have them. And you need somebody in your life, I call it now my board of directors, that can talk to you and don't see you as Dr. this or that can speak plainly to you, can call BS when they hear it. That person for me lives in Savannah. They can speak truth, and they love you enough to confront you even when you don't ask for their help. He got me involved in the community, as you heard, Emerald Youth, and I saw people that really had challenges. I didn't have any challenges. We have first world problems. And I got involved in the community, got involved in United Way and the Kim Health Center and all these other things that took my mind off myself. And I learned that leadership's not a position. It's influencing people to work enthusiastically toward a goal that matters for the common good. And I started to find that in my work, and I started to find it in the community. I slowed down, I started to listen, I started to give everybody their 31 seconds, and I started to respond with compassion, which is empathy with action. Empathy is empathy, identifying with someone else's struggle. Compassion is you do something about it. As I said, I'm still in recovery. I'm not cured. Case in point, my baby girl is now in college. She just finished her first semester, and we wanted to spend our last 6 months together before she left. We ran 3 half marathons and 2 5Ks in the spring in 4 months. So that's that busyness rearing its head again. I wanted to break 2 hours and a half, and I wanted to win my age group in the 5K, and I did both. But the result of that was 2 torn hamstrings, a torn hip. My right hip labrum is torn right now, and I've been in physical therapy for about 2 months. I haven't run in 5 months. But now, going back to Speed Kills, it revealed to me what I'd been missing for the last 30 years, 40 years that I've been running. So now I walk, and I see things that I've run by 100 times that I never saw before. Now I walk with my wife, and we talk about something besides healthcare. And I climb the stairs to the second floor of my office without having pain in my back and both knees. It's the first time in 7 years. So speed kills health, and it kills relationships. That's the bad news. The good news is there's a solution. And so I want to give you, right now you're trying to figure out, you're going to say, man, he's got to give us something positive to go home on, first of all. Secondly, you're trying to 5S. You know, you guys did your 5S. You're trying to 5S your life right now. How do I make this applicable? I'm going to give you the 5 S's that matter to me. Number one, the first S is to see, S-E-E. One, when you get back on Monday, get out of your office. Whatever your office is, get out of your office, get out of your comfort zone. walk to a unit or to a surgical center or whatever, go to a place that you haven't been before, sit in on someone's huddle, and ask someone, what's getting in the way of you doing your best work? And how can I help you? Because now you have the tools. You have the influence and you have the tools. Then you want to acknowledge the effort that they're putting in every day. They're doing the work on the front lines while you get to be the drum major. You're not doing a lot of this stuff. You're directing a lot of stuff. So acknowledge their efforts, recognize their contribution. People don't engage from work. They engage from leaders who don't see them. Number two, the second S is solve. Eliminate barriers. Solve to root. You guys have heard that all year. Keep asking why. We thought our first case on time starts were because surgeons thought it was because of the anesthesiologists. Anesthesiologists thought it was because of the surgeons. We've been doing this for 10 years. But when we really solved to root this year, we found out it was the patient. And we asked why again, because the patients were getting 2 different calls about what time they were supposed to be there. Why is that? Because the surgeon offices were calling 2 different people. We kept asking why, and it wasn't anything about what we thought it was. Our first case on time starts went to 75%. It's been 50% since I've been there. Since I've been there, 18 years. So instead of Monday morning approving one more policy, go remove 1 obstacles with the tools that you've gained this year. Ask a person, what's one thing that you could stop doing that would make your job easier? Your job isn't to be the smartest person in the room, it's to make the room smarter. Third S, strategize. I love strategy. That's my favorite part of PIMBA, is strategy. We now have a 10-year vision. It's like, okay, you can't have a 10-year strategic plan. We don't have a 10-year strategic plan. We have a 10-year vision. It's kind of like that obituary. We know where we want to go, and now we're going to back into it in 3 different phases. We have a foundational phase, we have a growth phase, and we have an aspirational phase. Each of those phases are 3 to 4 years long. So one of the speeches that really inspires me was John F. Kennedy, 1962 at Rice campus. It was hot as fire in Houston, Texas. And he said, I choose to go to the moon. I choose to go to the moon not because it's easy, but because it is hard. And not because going to the moon, I'm paraphrasing, going to the moon matters, but going to the moon will show us what else we can do as a nation. And mind you, by the time they got 1962, we didn't have any heat shields. We didn't have any rocket boosters. We hadn't put a man outside of orb. I mean, we didn't know how to do any of this stuff. But he said, I choose to go to the moon. And we went to the moon, as you guys know. And so that's what I've told. When I said that to my board of directors, they freaked out a little bit. And now my board chair, when I meet with her every other week, she writes it down at the top of our sheet. I choose to go to the moon. And so we're taking that first step this year. So when you get back on Monday, clarify everyone's role in your organization in achieving your mission and vision. Engagement doesn't determine direction, but it does determine speed. Write down 3 priorities that you will have for the next 90 days. Then identify one thing that you're doing that doesn't fit and get rid of it. That's what we don't have the courage to do, is stop doing stuff. If it doesn't advance the strategy, it's noise, it's a distraction. The 4th S is sacrifice. You guys everybody in this room lives in the 99th percentile in the world. Doesn't matter how you measure it, how many cars you have, how much your house costs, how much money you make, your clothes on your back. It doesn't matter. You live in the 99th percentile. With that comes a responsibility. Number 1 is your time. Give your time. It's easy for a lot of us to write a check at this point in our lives. Give your time. Number 2, the skills you've gained this year, thought leadership. Give your thought leadership. I use what I've learned at UT Medical Center, at Emerald Youth. It helps them. It's second nature to us. We talk about it all the time, but they don't have the resources or the expertise to do that. I help them with my skills. And lastly, give financially. Monday morning, model what you expect of your team. If you pick up paper, you watch. They'll start picking up paper. You walk with them, they'll pick up paper before you pick it up. I promise you. If you make time for people, they will follow you. Sacrifice is contagious. The 5th S, and I'm almost done, is Sabbath. The last one is the hardest. Going slow. My leadership coach says go slow to go fast. I didn't have any idea what that meant. Go slow to go fast. We're afraid of silence. How many of you came over here this morning with no noise in your car? That's what I thought. One person. No noise, no radio, no podcast, no Apple Music, no nothing. We are afraid of silence. We confuse busyness with impact. We're designed to sleep. You guys know this as the physicians in the room. A third of our lives. That's for a reason. Short-circuiting rest is not heroic, it's counterproductive. So Monday morning, protect your white space. Put some margin on your calendar. If you looked at my calendar right now, I've had back to back. I want to fire my executive assistant every day. Back-to-back meetings for 10 hours. I said, I got to have a break. I got to the bathroom, give me 45 minutes, something. So what I haven't done and what I'm doing now is I'm actually putting the white space on my calendar. And going back to that half marathon, when I broke 2 hours, so I never broke 2 hours when I ran the whole thing. But when I did a walk, run, walk, I broke 2 hours. So for every 4 segments that I ran, I walked a segment. And I ran 157 by walking. My 5K, I ran sub 25 minutes and won my age group with a run, walk, run. Never did it running the whole 5K. Go slow to go fast. White space is where clarity, creativity, and wisdom live. God is far more interested in the work that he is doing in you than through you. Who you are becoming matters more than where you are going. That house, that bonus, that promotion, it will not fill that empty space in your life. So the charge I leave you with, speed can be a gift, but unmanaged, it becomes a thief. Don't confuse motion with meaning. Don't trade presence for pace, and don't sacrifice depth for urgency. Be leaders who are slow enough to listen, wise enough to discern, and courageous enough to stop. Healthcare doesn't need faster leaders, it needs better ones. Congratulations, and go lead well.
Thank you, Dr. Gray. I've heard Dr. Gray speak several times, and there's always a wonderful lesson and takeaway from when he shares his thoughts with us. So thank you for being here. All right, so we're ready to get started? I'd like to invite Patty Golden and Jorge Martinez to the stage. They were selected as the class leaders of the physician program. So it's a special award that they receive. Patty, thank you.
Thank you.
Are we supposed to get the picture? Oh, yeah, here we go.
Good morning, faculty, family, friends, and most importantly, fellow graduates. We came into this program as physicians who thought we understood complexity. Then we learned what a spreadsheet really looked like at 10 p.m., how many group projects one human can survive, and that one should go big or go home when it comes to Nancy and Devin's healthcare monopoly. And where are you, Dan Noonan? You taught us how to perfect reading the room. And yet here we are, still standing, still curious, and somehow still friends. There is a quote by Peter Drucker that feels especially fitting today. The best way to predict the future is to create it. This program didn't just teach us finance, strategy, or operations. It taught us how to think differently, how to sit at tables where once we viewed from a distance, how to ask better questions, and how to lead with both rigor and heart. To our faculty and to our mentors, thank you for challenging us, pushing us, and believing we could be both clinicians as well as executives without losing our souls in the process. To our families and loved ones, thank you for tolerating the late nights, the group calls, the travel, and the occasional moment when we explain discounted cash flow and the whack at the dinner table. Rob, thank you for always supporting my crazy ideas and helping me become the best version of myself. Girls, you are my world. Thank you for pushing me and loving me. no matter what. Mom and Dad, you taught me there are no limits to my dreams. And to my big brother, who hopefully is watching, I'm sad you're not here, but when he heard I was going back to school at 54, he decided to go back to school and compete with me. And to my classmates, it has been an honor to learn alongside you. You are proof that leadership in healthcare can be smart, ethical, compassionate, and occasionally sarcastic when necessary. As we leave here, may we lead with courage, humility, and purpose. May we remember why we entered medicine in the first place. And may we use these new skills not just to run organizations better, but to make healthcare better for those who need us the most. Congratulations, class of 2025. We did it. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, we'll just pretend it's her.
So on behalf of PEMBA, I have the honor of the next award, which is for the Physician Executive MBA Outstanding Faculty Award. This individual really had a ton of grace for our entire class. Most of us most likely came into this class because we wanted to increase our skills in what this individual was able to teach us. And not only did we learn a lot from him, but we learned how to bring humor into finance. We learned what the importance of the beta was. And quite honestly, I think the skills that he taught us really are going to be one of the strongest assets of us coming away from this program. So if Dr. Daves could come to the stage, that would be fantastic.
He may be stuck at another event, I don't see him.
I did hear there's another
There
graduation
is another
happening.
graduation, so he may be there. So,
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Dr. Dave?
Yeah, Dr. Davis, all right. Jorge is our second class leader for the physician program. Jorge. Can I present this to you first? And then you can, yes, that's okay. It's all right. All right. Present that to you.
So, thank you for being here. I want to thank Dr. Ashley for running such a spectacular program. I'm so happy I made the decision to come here. And I want to welcome everybody and say hello, especially to the PEMBA group and the Healthcare Leadership Group. So, standing together as PEMBA 2025, what comes to mind is not a framework or a textbook, but a simple message from my mother. The message, combined with the way we have learned to set and align our goals this year, has shaped how we, as a class, make decisions and stay motivated. As a little kid, I heard the same little line over and over from my mother. She would say, Jorge, God gave you all these talents, but they do not belong to you. You have them so you can use them for the service of others. Today, standing as PEMBA 2025, that sentence feels like it belongs to all of us. We are a room full of physicians and healthcare leaders who have been reminded again and again that our talents are meant to serve patients, teams, organizations, and communities, not just ourselves. If that message sounds abstract, the framework we have lived together is actually very simple. We have learned to organize our lives around a hierarchy of goals. There are short-term, mid-terms, and long-term goals, all aligned with a purpose bigger than any one person. Every flight to Knoxville or Zoom weekend DL session, every case write-up, every OAP was a short-term step that sat inside a larger goal, becoming better physician leaders for the people we serve. When our decisions line up with that purpose, saying yes or no, to one more responsibility, one more call shift, and one more assignment became little clearer and easy. Haslam's mission is to be a community that serves Tennessee and beyond by creating, sharing, and applying knowledge to improve the world. This year, PEMBA 2025 has become that community. We have shared data and stories, challenged each other's assumptions, and applied what we've learned directly to clinics, hospitals, and health systems. Haslam Vision calls us to inspire students, challenge the status quo, drive change, and transform the world. Across our projects and discussion, we have questioned how care is delivered, how teams are led, and how limited resources can be better used so our patients and communities experience that transformation first. When our time here is remembered, the real measure will not be our degrees, titles, or new roles. It will be whether we, as Haslam class, PEMBA, and healthcare leadership 2025, use the talents we were given in the service of others, and carry Haslam mission into every hospital, clinic, boardroom, C-suite, or community we touch. As we leave, may we hear that same simple message. These talents are not for ours alone. And may every decision from PEMBA to whatever comes next honor that shared purpose. And make those who invested in us, including our mothers, our families, our faculty, our patients, proud. Thank you. So our Physician Executive MBA Outstanding Teacher Award. So I feel very grateful that I get to present this award to this individual. This individual is a Latino person from a diverse background that came to this country and had made himself a very important person in our lives. We selected him as our favorite teacher. I like his classes because he had the way to provide the message properly and make feel everybody interested. We were constantly engaged. And I had the opportunity to have him as my OAP advisor, and that was a great experience. I feel like somehow, you meet people that you feel like you've known them from so long. So I want to present this award to Professor Alex Sabla.
So on behalf of the PEMBA Endowment, we also have the honor of awarding 2 additional critical people in our lives. We'd like to call up Riley. Where are you, Riley Dunn? There you are. So Riley's getting the outstanding administrative support. I don't know how many late night text calls, chats that you had to take from us, too many. But you always came through for us. So we are so grateful to you.
Awesome, thank you guys.
And last but not least is outstanding technical support. Though I feel like that does not sum up all that this individual brought to our class. Where are you, Tom Brown? There you are. Tom, you started every single residence period with a huge smile on your face for us. I don't know what we're going to do without getting all of your mom's recipes. I hope that we continue to get those. This individual also started almost all of our classes out with a Tom Brown joke. So we are dearly going to miss you, but you made such a meaningful impact to our class. And finally, on behalf of our PEMBA 2025, we would like to present Kate Atchley with our class donation to our PEMBA 25 endowment for $8,150.
Just amazing, you all. Thank you. Now, we'd like to turn to the Executive MBA for Healthcare Leadership Group. First, I need my glasses that I leave everywhere. I would like to invite the IMBA, we call it Halimba, that's not the greatest name for it, but that's our shortcut for it. Y'all can help me come up with a better word for it. But for our Executive MBA Healthcare Leadership, Sean O'Neill was selected as the class leader. Again, a huge honor to be selected by your peers. Sean, would you like to join us on stage?
Good morning. When I first submitted my application to this program, I had a moment of hesitation. I looked at my calendar, already overflowing with meetings, travel, and the demands of my job. I looked at the state of our industry, which is more complex than ever, and I looked at my family. I asked myself a very logical question. Is this really the right time? Whatever season of life we may be in, whether you're navigating a promotion, a new job, raising young children, or caring for aging parents, adding a rigorous MBA to the mix felt, quite frankly, a little insane. But standing here today, looking at this group, I've come to a different conclusion. This program didn't happen in spite of the chaos in our lives, it happened because of it. There's a concept I've been reflecting on over the year with the help of my LDP coach, Dr. Kai Stolberg, and it's the season of life. We often wait for things to calm before we go forward, but in healthcare, I do not believe we are afforded that luxury. I realized halfway through this program that this degree could not have come at a better time. If I had done this 10 years ago, I would have just memorized the concepts and likely would have gone through the motions. But doing it now, in this specific season of my life, meant every lesson landed differently. We didn't just study organizational behavior, we applied it the next day. The education wasn't abstract, it was immediate. However, if I'm going to be honest, the education wasn't just what happened inside Haslam. The true gift of the season was the bond formed between my cohort sitting here today. And frankly, I'm not sure the faculty always knew who was sitting in those seats. If you looked at our official class roster versus what we actually called each other, you'd think you're in the wrong room. Between Brick, Duke, Brion, and Raul, just to name a few, I'm fairly certain there are faculty members here today who still don't know what our legal names are. But those nicknames are a symbol of how quickly we went from being strangers to being a family. We bonded over the shared struggle. We survived the rigorous curriculum, the shock and awe of Kitty's HR dress code simulation in RP1 with Brad. Hey, Kitty. Eric taking Blair Stone to the woodshed in conflict resolution. And most surprisingly, we survived a GroupMe chat that may land some of us on an FBI watch list. That said, that was the time together that solidified us. I'll never forget the multiple trips to the Vol Shop during breaks or countless nights hanging out after class, those evenings where we decompressed, debated, laughed until we cried. It was in those moments, the nights that went a little later than we planned, the conversations that started about school or work but ended up being about life, and that's where the real work was done. To my classmates, you've been the best surprise of this entire experience. I walked in here looking to broaden my knowledge and maybe meet a few folks, but in reality, I'm leaving with a family. I'm leaving here with relationships that I'll hold forever and people I can't wait to see again. Thank you for the laughs, your perspectives, and then sharing your experience with me. Of course, none of this happens in a vacuum. We've been guided by faculty that challenged us to think bigger. I have to give a massive amount of gratitude to the people who kept the train on the tracks, to our assistant director, Janessa, and our program manager, Riley. Thank you. You manage the logistics, the schedules, and the many personalities with grace and efficiency. We will always be greatly indebted to you. To our outstanding faculty and the guests who have joined us along the way, thank you for challenging us daily. A special thank you to Kate. Your leadership has been tremendous and setting the standard of excellence we will carry along with us after today. Finally, most importantly, I want to speak to the people sitting in the audience, our friends, our families, our partners, and our spouses. There is a cost to ambition, and often the people we love the most are the ones who pay it. You're the ones who picked up the slack at home, the ones who listened to us vent about one more assignment at the dinner table. You're the ones who sacrificed weekends so we could write papers. To my support system at home, this degree has my name on it, but it belongs to you just as much as it belongs to me. This was a challenging season in our household, but your belief in me turned a season of stress into a season of growth. I could not have done it without you. As we leave here today and return to our organizations, the season changes again. We are no longer students, we are now alumni. And as a token of our commitment to the seasons that come after us, I'd like to present our 2025 Healthcare Leadership class gift to Kate. We were able to raise $6,500 from our grant. Thank you. So it's my honor to present the Outstanding Faculty Award for the H. Limba class. I'll tell you, I think this was the first professor we had right out of the gate, and I'll tell you, we hit the ground running. I will say that, and I think I had an awakening of like, okay, now I'm in graduate school. But I will tell you, this individual kept their subject extremely engaging, very easy to understand, and then dealt with a lot of our endless questions and the nicknames, as I mentioned earlier. But not only can we take those lessons and apply them to our daily careers in life, and so I'm very honored to present this award to Jim Reeve.
So we have a bittersweet announcement. What many people don't know about Jim Reeve is that he was a founding faculty member for how we teach our programs. 30 years. He was part of the original group that came together and created something so unique, so applied, that has given this history of these leaders all over the world in healthcare and strategic leadership, all of it. It's all comes from him. He has been invaluable counsel to me and to many of us. I'm going to cry, I'm not a crier. Most of us have learned how to teach watching him teach. And it is bittersweet that he is going to retire, but we are so happy for the joy that Glenda has brought into his life and that they get to go off together and all the travels that they have planned. So it warms my heart to see you all so happy together. We have We have a video that we have gathered comments from the students. We're going to show a short portion of it today so that you can see it. The full-length video we have given to Jim and Glenda to enjoy.
Happy retirement, Jim. I wanted to thank you for all your time this year. I really enjoyed all your classes.
I will always appreciate your candor, your caring, and your commitment to excellence.
I also appreciate how you take care of the students that you lead, you take care of the people around you.
You're legendary, and I want to say thank you for setting the bar for all of us and the example for me.
It's been a good decade, sir. It's been a pleasure. Enjoy retirement.
I just wanted to take a moment and thank you so much for all of your years of service to students.
Congratulations! Congratulations!
Happy retirement, Jim. Wish you all the very best.
Just wanted to say how much I enjoyed your class this year. You were a wonderful educator, and I really got a lot out of it.
It was truly an honor to be one of your students. I wish you a happy and fulfilling retirement.
Hi Jim, congratulations on your retirement. Thanks for all you've done for us this year.
I just want to wish you the best. I've really enjoyed my chances to be in the classroom.
I truly enjoyed your classes.
Your education and knowledge, and wish you all the best in the future.
It's been a pleasure working for you the last 5 years since I started working here.
I happen to be a member of the last class that you taught. How cool is that?
You definitely put the fun in finance. I just want to wish you a great, well-earned retirement.
I just wanted to congratulate you on your upcoming retirement and tell you what a pleasure it has been being in your class this year.
Thank you so much for all you have done for Pemba over the years. It's been a pleasure meeting you. And
You'll be sadly missed by future classes and by the University of Tennessee.
The personal growth I experienced from you was tremendous. The impact you've made on both the PEMBA and the HL program is immeasurable.
I especially enjoyed learning from you. You made it fun, interesting, and you made me a lot smarter.
Such a distinguished career. You've been a tremendous inspiration to the rest of us.
You made finance and accounting interesting, and I really benefited from it.
You gave us tools that I wish I'd had 20 years ago, and I don't want you to take for granted the impact you've had on your students' lives.
You just didn't teach numbers. You taught us how assumptions tell a story and how discipline can turn that story into reality.
Enjoy this next season of life, and thank you for the impact you made in and out of the classroom.
You absolutely deserve a long and happy retirement.
And as people look back on their careers and they want to know, have I made a difference? I can say that you made a difference to me.
Thank you for everything. It has been amazing. He is truly one of the best professors I've ever had there at UT.
And what an absolute legend and wonderful teacher. Thank you so much for everything you taught me in class this year.
Here's to you, Jim. May life bring so much more. We hope that you'll never fully close the UT door. Wishing you all the best, Jim Reeve.
Our position is here, so we're going to person's name will be called, and as you walk across, if you would pause so we can take a photo with you.
We will start by recognizing our graduates of the Executive MBA for Healthcare Leadership. First up is
This is where families get to clap and yell for each other.
Yes. First up is class leader, Sean O'Neill. Kaya Clark. Christina Clay. Kelly Cochran. Ashley Coleman. Paula Deeroff. Tara DiDonato. Casey Edwards. Jamie Fast. Allison Genson.
How can you beat the name Knox?
Brad Guilford. Paul Hibbler. Sumi Joseph. Eric McCullough. Christopher Blake McElroy. Janet Perry. Nell Peterson. Brian Randolph. Mitchell Ryder. Luke Robinson. Brittany Wallen. Congratulations to our Executive MBA for Healthcare Leadership. Next, we will recognize our Physicians Executive MBA graduates. Congratulations, class leader, Jorge Martinez Raval. And class leader, Patricia Golden. Benedict Aimua. Hussam Alfala. Omar Algarni. Salim Algamdi. Haya Al-Johani. Basim Al-Radadi. Ohud Al-Rehali. Nayef Al-Shabili. Wesley Barnett. Max Bumgardner. Nicholas Branscombe. Sweta Chandra. Louis Shemin. Brian Coates. Mark Drumhiller. Quinita Fernandez. John Freeman. Jeremy Greenberg. Casania Guerra. Ramon Hakim. David Hanscom. Anthony Johnson. Christopher Knight. David Lane. Sean Lanou. Harish Manyam. Keith May. Jamil Miranda. Suda Nair. Daniel Noonan. Nicholas Perkins. Mohammed Remen. Sterling Roaf. John Schillinglaw. Charlotte Sloth. Grant Studebaker. James Tucker. Michelle Walsh. Tezu Wolokali. Marina Zachariah. We have a few graduates who are not able to be here with us for the event today, and I would love to read their names. After I read their names, I would love for all of you to please join me in a round of applause for our Physicians Executive MBA graduates. Afreen Biswas, Stanislav Kellner, Amul Mushtaba, Irfan Sadiq, Naveed Sadiq. Congratulations, Physicians Executive MBA. Let's give them a round of applause.
Well, congratulations again, PEMBA and EMBA HL graduates. There's been a lot said today, so I will be very quick in terms of closing remarks. One thing we have not done is recognize our graduates and others in the room who have served our country through the military. Our graduates wear red, white, and blue cords. If you are a graduate or a family member who has served, if you would please stand and let us recognize you. The second question that I would like to answer is, why are we here? This is not a theoretical question, it is a practical question. Why is this group of fancy physician executive MBAs and their lovely families holding graduation in a hotel when we have a beautiful campus that they have had the opportunity to be in all week? You may have been wondering that. And I will say that we are very fortunate, but also challenged in our college to have experienced tremendous growth over the last 10 years. This fall, we have almost 10,000 undergraduates in the Haslam College of Business and over 1,200 graduate students. We had the bright idea a few years ago to manage space by allowing a set of our students to come after the end of the official semester, which meant, actually wonderfully, we had the run of the building for the whole week, which is wonderful. But it did not allow us to graduate in university facilities the way we normally would have. At the time we were planning graduation, actually there was some thought that we might be hosting an SEC championship game, and that did not actually materialize. So what I would want you to know, class of 2025, is that you've seen the new building that is coming up across the street. It should be open, we hope, for RP4 in December of 2027. So you may be, certainly in 2028, you will have to come back and visit us because you've got to see the new digs. And we want you to know that you're part of history of being a PEMBA and EMBA HL class that graduated in a hotel. So when you tell someone, you know, years and years from now, what year you graduated, I hope that you will share, we were that group that were in a hotel because the building was being built and we weren't quite ready yet. So thank you all for being here. Thank you all for being patient with this. I will not say in any way mock or pretend graduation because it is a real graduation. You have diplomas coming. You are actual graduates of the University of Tennessee. We are so proud of you. And upon this day, you join 1,052 PEMBA alums and just a little over 300 EMBA alums who have graduated from these programs. And so we are very grateful for you. We look forward to continued relationships. Dr. Gray, thank you for your wonderful remarks. We really appreciate you being here with us this morning. And if we could give one standing ovation to our graduates, then we will call this celebration concluded. So if you can please join me.